Today's video is going to be a reflection and some of my thoughts on the Valhalla Beer and Battle Fest that I just came back from, run by the Knights Hall out of Nashua, New Hampshire. But we did it was up north, northern New Hampshire. If you're not in New Hampshire, up north, this means northern New Hampshire, past the White Mountains, at a campground, Rogers Campground, and kind of talk about some of my thoughts about this type of event and why I think it's so beneficial for our sport. So to give you an idea of what it was a 4-day festival. It was armored combat fighting, so steel fighting. It was soft kit, so soft battle gear, sparring gear, what do you want to call it, foam weapon fighting. I believe there was some rattan fighting too that I didn't see or didn't know about. There's a lot of Mongolian wrestling, oil wrestling. There was something called blood wrestling, which apparently covered yourself in chocolate sauce. There was bands, live music, obviously beers and drinks. There was food on site. So that was kind of the event. It was a 4-day long festival, Thursday through Sunday it ran. So first of all, let me say that I only made it up for Friday night and Saturday, and I left early Sunday morning because of my work schedule. I left after work on Friday. I couldn't get off the time due to where it was in the year for me. So I went up Friday night, got to see people Friday night, then fought Saturday, and then left Sunday. So I didn't experience the whole thing, but I think I talked to a lot of people I know from the community in the area, a lot of people who traveled. And I really want to talk about first of all, this is a great event. Next year, you should be going. I don't care where you are in the country, you should be traveling out. We had New Jersey there, we had New York, we had Texas. Off the top of my head, that's the major reasons, areas I can think of, as well as obviously more New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Maine, all those people, the New England crew came up as well. So really good. It was a really good selection of fighters, a group of people. We had a lot of fun. So what did I like about this a lot? I like the fact that this was truly a festival for this event. The location was really cool. We had a pavilion that the list was set up underneath, so you had cover from the sun and when it raining and stuff, so you could fight in there. It was right next to the camping area. It was right next to the motel. You could walk from the motel to the fighting area. So I stayed in the motel for the night that I was there, 2 nights that I was there, which was awesome. So you got to camp and rough it. You got to have a little it's a rustic little motel, nothing fancy, but it has beds and it's a place to crash. So it was great. So that's kind of the way the event was laid out. What I really loved about it was the atmosphere. So I've only been doing this sport 2.5 years, give or take. I've done a fair amount of events though. I've done a lot of local Knights Hall events, so competitive tournaments, regional things like Blood and Steel, a lot of what I call shows, or our kind of local fights like chapter matches and dueling events and night fight events, which is kind of like we're putting on a performance for an audience. And you're really competing to kind of, showmanship is a big part of it, right? And then I've done really competitive things like national championships or traveled to Detroit for, a competitive tournament. And we were really going out to fight those other teams and see who's the best and really challenge yourself against other people. This was none of that. This was an event that was designed around celebrating fighting and the fighting community. So while we were competitive when we fought, there was no feeling of I had no anxiety, which I sometimes have before fights where I get nervous. Am I going to perform well and how am I going to do, right? There was no feeling of I have to, the audience could be watching me and I got to do the best I can. It was really just the chance to go out there and celebrate the sport and celebrate the event and just fight what you wanted to fight and skip what you wanted to skip. There was no pressure, and it was just really cool to be around that many people, even for the 1.5 days that I was there. But imagine the full 4 days of that community just coming together, celebrating the sport, participating where you wanted to participate, skipping what you didn't, and really getting to experience the whole flavor of what this sport's all about. So I would love to see more events like this all around the country. I think there should be more festival style events where there's not just I'm showing up and doing the tournament today, or I'm showing up and it's this type of fighting. It's, do you want to come and do some wrestling and goof off in games? Do you want to fight competitively in the 10s? Do you want to do soft kit sparring and kind of practice your skills? You can really do a little bit of all of it, or none of it, and just hang out with people. And I think that was really the best part for me, is you could show up and experience what you wanted to and get to talk to people you don't see, and people online and friends in the community. So I really loved that. I think that next year's gonna be even better. This was the first year they ran it. There was a little bit for me of overstacking events. They seemed kind of tight together so that the schedule got off a little bit. It was harder to get to everything you wanted to do. But again, better to have too much to do the first time than too little. So I think that timing will get worked out in the future. Got got a cool shirt, right? So I got the shirt here, the Battlefest Valhalla shirt. So I love that. Also, while I'm at it, we'll talk to you. You can go to my website, link down below. You can buy my gear. There's shirts, t-shirts, hats. I think there's a flag up there. There's a whole bunch of random stuff. You can also get some local team stuff there that we currently have pretty much selling at cost. We're not making money off it, but the Nightmares, I think the Banshees are gonna be up there soon. Really just kind of getting that gear into the community. So if you fight for one of those teams or you support them, you can get that stuff even cheaper than my stuff and maybe buy one of my shirts right there as well. So that's my little plug. It's all done. Yeah, so I think that if anything, I'd say, you know, if you have an opportunity to travel to an event and you're either, you know, not looking to be the top fighter level, maybe you are and that's fine, or you just want to be competitive, or you only get to go to 1 or 2 things a year, I would make this one of your priorities. A Valhalla Battlefest next year, or something like that. If you find one in your region, that's great, but something where you get to do so much in such a condensed amount of time without that pressure of feeling like you have to do everything. I think that's what made it truly special. The community was great, the people were great, the bands were fun, they had wrestling while the bands were playing. You know, you could be as engaged or as, you know, and you know, you could take a break. We went out to dinner with a few people and skipped out on something on Saturday night, which was great. You know, get to go out and kind of go to a little pub and have some food and come back and still then go to the parties afterwards. You get that really feel of it being a festival feeling with fighting, with all the intensity of great axe work and chopping and fighting and hitting everyone. That was wonderful. We got to fight some really hard people. I got to swing hard, which was awesome. But then I get to kind of relax afterward, not have to worry about like, how did I do? And it just didn't have that feel of pressure, which I think a lot of us put in ourselves if we want to be good at this. So it was good to have that kind of release day, go home and just feel like, hey, I really had a lot of fun and that was it. And this was just about the fun. So that's my review. I think you should go to it. I think other people should start these types of events up as well. I think there should be more of these in the community. And I think these are the things that grow the sport, especially as international travel is still a problem. As going to some of the bigger tournaments overseas, we just can't really do it right now. And it's much better, I think, to grow the sport nationally in this way, get more of these events where you can show up and really make a party out of it, a community out of it. And then at that point, you get to go home. You feel good. And you know you met a lot of nice people, made some new friends, and got to hit some of those friends with really heavy weapons. All right, I'm Woodchuck Knight. Like, subscribe, follow, all that wonderful stuff. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions or thoughts, leave them in the comments below. If you want to see any kind of video, let me know. All right, I'll talk to you later.